and your neighbors across the country buy more food packages carrying this brand than any other in the world. And now Borden's presents TV's newest and liveliest panel show, Make the Connection. Now let's meet our Make the Connection panel. The star of Life with Elizabeth, Betty White. Disc jockey, humorist, Gene Klavan. Hollywood actress and singing star, Gloria Dehaven. The Hollywood and Broadway star, Eddie Bracken. Our moderator, the bright young television comedian, Gene Rayburn. And Borden's guest tonight, singing star, Vaughn Monroe.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another session of Make the Connection. And while I'm welcoming, I'd like to welcome Gloria Dehaven back. Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
In your absence, Lorraine Day was sitting in your chair. She was exceedingly charming, but she lost your next 3 weeks' salary. So, anyway, as you know, the panel is going to try to make the connection between two or more contestants. And panel, you understand, you may continue to question a contestant as long as the light in front of you is on. Now, when the light goes out, our contestants get $25. When they've won $150, the game is over. Are you ready to make the connection? Okay, go ahead. I mean, everybody's ready, so let's meet our first guests, please. Would you come in? Not the Andrews sisters. Would you give us your name and tell us where you're from, please?
Dorothy Phillips from Flushing, Long Island.
And you?
And Mary Hardy from Flushing.
Mary Hardy from Flushing.
Doris Stemberger from Long Island City.
Doris Stemberger from Long Island City. And you, sir, would you tell us your name?
Don Smith, Gene. I'm from Flushing also.
Okay, everybody's from Flushing. Let's, for the benefit of our home audience, make the connection.
Mr. Smith taught these girls judo.
Panel, I'll give you one link in this connection. I guess we better sit a little closer together, Mr. Smith. This is something Mr. Smith taught these girls. And let's begin the questioning with Betty White.
Taught the... Aren't you getting generous with the
Yes,
clues?
we are very generous tonight.
Did you teach the girls something physical rather than mental, Mr. Smith?
It was a little of each.
A little of each?
Yes.
Good answer, Mr. Smith. Very good.
Was this a how-to-do-it course in any sense of the word?
Yes.
That covers a kind of a broad field. Girls, is this something, after taking this course, can you help out, say, more around the house?
Not really, no.
Is it, but you can put what you learn to practical use?
Oh, definitely, yes.
You have a gleam in your eyes. It's something that you use maybe when you're out on a date?
You may have to, yes.
Really?
Very good answer.
Sounds cozy anyhow. If a girl didn't know how to do this, would she be considered a wallflower?
I don't think so, no.
No. That's $25 down and $125 to go, and now we're going to hear from Gene Klavan.
I think according to the laws of the state of New York, you're too young to be wrestlers. So was this something, I don't like to be blunt, was this something that Mr. Smith taught you to help get a husband?
No, no.
Did it have anything to do with learning to cook?
No.
Well, let's take a different tack. Let's take something. How about, did it have anything to do with transportation?
Yes, in a way.
Well, not directly, Gene, but in a way it might have something to do.
Would this be trained, say, for training rather for some kind of flying?
In a way, yes.
That's in a way, too.
Are you going to be airline hostesses? Is that what this is?
No.
No, you're on the wrong track. That's $50 down and $100 to go, and now here's Gloria Dehaven.
Gloria with a gleam in her eye. I have a wild chance here. I don't know. First of all, I want to ask, would this in any sense, girls, be something that might protect you or something...
That's right.
Would it have anything to do with jiu-jitsu?
Yes.
Judo.
Yes. That's right it. Judo. We've got it. Good for you, Gloria. Mr. Smith taught these girls to become judo experts. It's exactly the connection.
Let's bring on the next contestant, please.
I'd like to see
don't
some
be
of their
frightened.
dates.
Gene, everything's under control.
I
Yes.
think this is terrible because I wanted to ask these girls some questions, had nothing to do with what's the connection with him.
Well, you may have an opportunity to later. Mr. Smith, where do you teach?
Out at the Flushing YMCA, Gene, in Queens.
YMCA?
That's right.
They have
No
a...
wonder you have to learn judo if you keep going to the YMCA all the time. Are the girls really pretty good at this sort of thing?
They do all right. They're at different stages, but they each know enough of it to get by now.
I see. And how long have you been taking judo lessons?
5 years.
5 years. Boy, I'm kind of anxious to see how this thing works. Could you show us a few of the things?
Sure could.
Okay, let's move over to this other area. First, I'd like to find out from you, Mr. Smith, how much do you weigh?
200 if my wife isn't listening.
And none of you certainly weighs anywhere near 200, although I wouldn't hazard a guess. It just seems incredible to me that little you can take big him. And how about giving us a description of the first hole? Or whatever you're going to do.
That
The
I'll
first
do?
throw, yeah. Is that what you call them?
That's right.
They're called throws.
That's
All right.
right, sir.
Well, before you start, let me get out of here. You mind if I leave? Go right ahead.
Well, we call this an over-shoulder throw. Some of you may have seen it as the flying mare in wrestling.
Now, Mr. Smith, you're a very brave man, and you're a very agile one. And I certainly thank you for being with us tonight. You've won $100 on Make the Connection. Thank you very much, and thank you, ladies. Incidentally, just before you go, Mr. Smith, it looked kind of easy to me. Do you mind if I take a whirl at it?
Not at all.
No. All right. Let's see. First, you... Thank you very much, Mr. Smith. Wow.
Gene?
Yes.
It's all right, boy. You've been sick.
You're so right. I
Gene?
still haven't figured out how they got into that Y, though. Yes, Betty?
Kiss me.
I will, but later. Okay, panel. If you're ready, we're all ready here to make our second connection. May we have our next guests, please? There you are. Would you give us your name, please, and tell us where you're from?
Louis Sarno, Brooklyn.
Louis Sarno from Brooklyn. Now, the second half of this connection is this young gentleman here, and this is his father. Can you tell us your name, please? Amalid. Well, that's pretty close to it. His name is La Madrid. Frankie La Madrid. But you're doing very well, Frankie. Okay, now for the benefit of our audience, let's make the connection.
Frank fell from the window of his fourth-floor apartment, and Mr. Sarno caught him.
All right, panel, I'll give you this one link to start you off on. This is something that Mr. Sarno here did for Frank. And let's start the questioning with Gene Klavan.
Mr. Sarno, was this in the way of any kind of service for young Frank? I mean, saving his life, perhaps?
Yes.
I guess the situation is rather important, huh? Was it...
That's what we're after, you're right.
Was it in any of the recent holocausts that we've had?
No.
Was it in the normal things that a child would get, or the abnormal things that children get into, one of those situations?
Yes.
Was it in any kind of thing around the house?
Yes.
Inside?
Yes.
Partly.
Partly inside. have anything to do with his locking himself up in any kind of a room or anything?
No.
Crawling into any kind of space?
No. Although you're on the right track, your original statement about something to do with saving his life. That's $25 down and $125 to go, and now let's hear from Gloria Dehaven.
Well, I just would like to ask, first of all, does Frankie have a strange appetite?
Does he have a strange appetite?
Would it have anything to do with something he might have swallowed?
No, it wouldn't, Gloria.
No. But it had to do with your saving his life, Mr. Simon.
Yes.
Did it happen at this age, or when did it happen at this age?
No.
That would be unimportant, I believe, to the connection, Gloria.
I see. Does it have anything to do with your profession?
No.
That it wouldn't help us to know your business?
No.
I see. Does it have anything to... Bye.
That's $50 down and $100 to go. Eddie Bracken, what questions do you have to ask?
Without asking any question, you're going to make a wild stab at this.
Yes.
Is this the young boy that fell out of a building and this man caught him?
You're right. Yes. You're right. Correct. You're right, Eddie. It happened almost 2 years ago. He fell, little Frankie fell from the fourth floor of his apartment, and Mr. Sarno caught him and saved his life.
Well,
Where
the
did
funny
this
part
happen?
of it is, Gene, that the one I'm referring to happened only about 2 months ago, I believe.
Give him money.
There you are. You see, you took a wild guess, and you were right. Where did this happen, Mr. Sarno?
On East River Drive.
Here in Manhattan?
In Manhattan. Yes.
And what were you doing at the time?
I was working upon the elevated highway that was being built at the time, just across the way from Frankie's apartment.
I see.
And some of the fellows and myself spotted Frankie on the windowsill.
Mm-hmm.
We yelled down at the people on the sidewalk, but they didn't hear us, so decided to run for it.
How far did you have to run?
Well, all in all, about 400 feet, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And you got there and you looked up?
Just about looked up and heard Frankie came down.
This little fellow coming through space. And were you hurt when you caught him?
No, I wasn't.
Was he hurt?
No, not at all.
Do you remember this, Frankie, when you fell out the window? Do you remember it? You don't remember it. I guess I don't blame you. I'd forget about it, too, if it happened to me. Frankie, I think you're a pretty dandy little fellow. I was about to give him the shirt off my back. We do have some... Yes, did you want to say something?
No, I was just going to say, if he didn't want to take the last gift, I'd be happy.
There's nothing in it. Frankie, you're a pretty dandy little fellow, and we do have a wonderful gift for you. What? That's a good question. Would you like to have a beautiful Stelber trainer bike?
Train.
A bicycle?
Not train.
You don't want a bicycle. He wants a train. Do you want New York and New Haven or Grand Central? Which train do you want, Frank? Ooh-choo. Just one that goes choo-choo. Well, we'll get together with you after the program, and we'll figure out what gift you would like.
Gene, I know an awful lot of commuters on the New Haven Railroad that would love to give him that railroad.
Okay, Mr. Sarno, thank you so much. You're a very courageous man. Thank you for being with us. Good night, Frankie. Good night. He wants food, and by the same token, you can't beat our panel when it comes to making the connection. They've been pretty sharp tonight, in the past few weeks, too, as a matter of fact. But let's see how they do now with our guest star. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the country's top singing and recording personalities, a man whose personal friendship I value highly. Here is Vaughn Monroe. It's a pretty fancy dud you're wearing, Vaughn.
A wee bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
I suppose we'd all like to know why you were wearing that fancy-looking tuxedo.
Well, I don't mind telling you.
All right.
Because I just rushed over from my own show to, our color.
That's right.
TV show that we do every Tuesday and Thursday.
Vaughn is on every Tuesday and Thursday
with
at 7:30 New York time, and it's seen throughout the country, isn't it?
That's right.
Whose show are you on, Vaughn?
I'll let Gene answer that.
It's a dandy little show. Unfortunately, I can't see it on Tuesdays because I'm here. On Thursdays, rather, but on Tuesdays I do watch it, and Vaughn looks great in color, let me tell you.
Gene, it's all right. He said he can't see the show either.
Let's meet the second half of your connection. Would you come in, please? My name is Gene Rayburn, and I live up in Westchester County. Thank you very much, Mr. Rayburn, for appearing here with us tonight as the second half of Vaughn Monroe's Connection. Now, for the benefit of our audience, let's make the connection.
For the past 2 months, Vaughn Monroe has been giving Gene Rayburn singing lessons.
All right, panel, we'll begin with this one little link. This is something that Mr. Monroe did for Mr. Rayburn. That's me. And we'll start the questioning with Eddie Bracken.
Let me see. Did this make you sick in any way? Had anything to do with...
Please, Eddie.
Did it have anything to do with your recent illness at all?
No, it did not.
Didn't. Did it make you sick, Vaughn?
Now, wait just a minute.
Do I have to answer that?
You have to answer that. I'm the other half of the connection, remember?
No, as a matter of fact, he didn't. He was all right.
Thank you very much.
You both look very ill to me. Well, now, let's see. Did it improve you in any way at all?
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, did it change your appearance?
Oh, no. No, it did not change my appearance. That's $25 down and $125 to go. I'm going to get schizophrenic from being the connection and the moderator at the same time. Let's hear what you have to say, Betty White.
Did it improve you financially at all, Mr. Rayburn?
No. No.
Mr. Monroe, did this have anything to do with hiring Mr. Rayburn at all?
No.
Firing him?
No.
Did this have anything to do with your professional career, Mr. Monroe?
Possibly.
Yeah. No, mezzo. It might have. I guess we'd have to give you a no on that, though.
Mezzo who?
That's schizophrenia's brother. Did this have... did you two ever work together, Mr. Monroe?
We have in the past, but that has nothing to do with the connection, really.
Would it help me to know where this took place specifically?
No, that wouldn't help you. That's $50 down and $100 to go. And here's Gene Klavan.
Gene, is this the fellow you told me who you said you wish you had taken his advice? He told you to stay out of show business?
No, this is not the one.
Did it have anything to do with show business?
In a way, yes.
But it was actually before both of you were working, or before you were working in show business?
No, I didn't mean to give you that impression, though. That's incorrect.
Were you on his show, Vaughn Monroe show at the time? Wait, I got it.
No.
You were the man on the moon.
No. The answer is no to any question you even had in mind. That's $75 down and $75 to go. Gloria?
You're racing fools. Now, wait a minute. Let me see. Now, does this have anything to do with your personal lives? Does it have anything to do with...
Yes, it does.
In other words, it's something
I would
away...
say so, yes.
Yes.
Is it away from your profession?
The connection occurred, yes, initially away from the profession, didn't it, Vaughn?
Exactly.
Has it anything to do with your homes or any property or any dealings that you would make outside of...
No property.
No property, no.
Money?
No.
No money exchanged hands.
No money. Well, does it have to do with investment?
No, but that's not a bad idea.
Is this something that you can do with your hands?
Partly. I'm going to have to cut you off at this point,
I want to know whether or not
and we're
you
going to
play
avoid...
instruments.
I beg your pardon?
Is it instruments between the two?
Yes, it does have to do with instruments, Eddie, but you're a little bit too late. I'm going to award us the full $150.
Oh, that's cheating.
No, it's not cheating.
Do I take that home?
We split it. We
My
did.
wife will be very happy.
Yes, I'm sure Marion is watching now. Here is the connection. For the past 2 months, every time our paths cross, Vaughn Monroe gives me a singing lesson. That's it.
Can you tell them where that started?
It's kind of started in a real strange, not a strange way, but an unusual way. We happen to send our daughters to the same summer camp. And once a summer, we're permitted to visit them. And we stay at the same place, a place called the Mitchell Meadows up in Andover, New Hampshire. So in the evening, this long 3-day weekend, there's nothing to do, and we sit around, don't we? And we, amuse ourselves and have laughs. And I brought my guitar up one year, and I started strumming it. And he's a great musician. As you know, he plays several instruments.
How's he as a teacher, Gene?
He's a pretty good teacher. And he's helped me, with the vocalizing, told me some tricks about it. And I just happen to have...
say that, Gene,
Can we
you've
hear
got
you
to practice
sing?
a little more.
Well, I'll work a little bit harder, but I'm going to give you a chance to give me another lesson right now because I've got those guitars here. Hold on a second.
The what?
Stand up.
Now, what are you going to do with these?
You've got to give me another lesson. And I've got the song all written out here with the chords and the words and everything, and if you'll just put your foot up on the thing there and give me the downbeat,
I've
we'll
never
go.
played guitar on the...
Oh, that's right.
Air
You've never
before.
played guitar on Coast
I'm
to
a
Coast
trumpet
television.
player
I know
normally, and I've been practicing very hard, but I didn't expect to
All right,
play on
so
your
you'll make
show.
your debut tonight.
Well, you have a chance to turn the set off if you want to. What do we do?
Let's do a beautiful,
Shall we do the one we did up at Mitchell's Meadows?
Yeah, we sang this. It was very pretty with the moon shining, the stars, and and then he threw me in the pool afterwards, and then I got the... We really had laughs up
Fingers
there.
set.
I think we ought to mention Borden's before you start playing.
All right, ready?
7 long years I've been married. I wish I was single again. And never knows of his trouble until beautiful, beautiful brown eyes. Beautiful, beautiful brown eyes. Beautiful, beautiful brown eyes. I'll never love blue eyes again.
On you, Dandy. Thank you so much for the lesson. Good night. There he goes, Vaughn Monroe, and I do thank him for those lessons. And I'll never forgive you for running out. But, yes?
I'd just like to tell the audience that last year they couldn't play at all.
Food. Well, we've had some laughs tonight, and the panel has been pretty sharp. They've made lots of connections, but now it's time for a serious word or two. As you know, there are thousands of Americans homeless tonight who've been ravaged by the terrible floods in the northeast part of the country. Those floods have destroyed almost everything except their hope. It's up to you and to me to help maintain their courageous hope. And we can do that by aiding the Red Cross, sending them the funds they're requesting right now. They need $8 million. As President Eisenhower put it recently, the heart of America is not going to stand still while other Americans are in distress. So, friends, send your relief contributions immediately to your local Red Cross chapter. Thousands of people will be grateful to you. Okay, now a final word from our panel. Hope you have a very safe flight. We know you'll have a pleasant one back to California via American Airlines. Good night, Betty White.
Thank you, Gene. And meanwhile, back at the ranch. Good night, Gene.
And a good night to you, Gene Klavan. You'll come back next week, won't you, in spite of the guitar?
I hope so, Gene. I'd like to say to Vaughn Monroe, it was not only a first, but a worst. Good night, Gene.
Nice to have you back with us, Gloria.
Thank you, Gene. All I can say is it's good to be home. Good night, Gene.
Good night, and good night, Eddie Bracken.
I'm sick.
We hope you'll join us again next week at the same time, same station for another session of Make the Connection. Good night.
This has been a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. Transportation for Make the Connection was arranged by American Airlines, the country's leading airline. American Airlines serves 77 major cities. They will fly you in luxurious comfort aboard DC-7 flagships.